I'm Linda Fox. I'm senior reporter with PhocusWire. I'm in the PhocusWire studio at the Phocuswright Conference, and I am delighted to welcome Scot Hornick, and he is head of travel and leisure at Oliver Wyman. Welcome.
Thanks, Linda. Nice to be here.
So as you look into 2024, I thought it might be nice to just kind of discuss how companies should be thinking about Gen AI tools.
Yes, I mean, our research has shown that consumers are there. They're ready for this. They have been using the technology already. They're eager for its recommendations, and they're very inclined to embrace those recommendations. So we think that travel companies have to be really putting it at the center of their agenda, particularly suppliers who might be looking to preserve direct booking share. Mm-hmm. This is a very important issue for them, and so their consumers are there, and they need to be there too.
And do you think part of the fact that they're engaging with the technology is that it does seem so much more already democratized than other technologies, say blockchain, for example?
Yeah, I think for sure, right? I mean, you literally can interact with the technology, and the normal way you would type an email to a friend saying, "Hey, I know you went to this place last year. Give me some recommendations," more or less. Obviously, we wouldn't say you went this place, but
sure,
you can directly interact with the technology in a very natural language kind of way.
Okay. Now, so why is defining a strategy so important now?
Sure. I think the key thing is that there's quite a bit of value at stake. If you look at the progress that travel suppliers have made in terms of achieving more direct booking share, if that was to be unwound, there could be as much as $1.8 billion of commissions revenue at stake, just across the hotel, airline, and cruise domains that we looked at.
And what are the sort of things that companies should be thinking, like how should they be thinking about their formulating their strategy?
Sure. I think, one of the most important things is just understand what does your consumer, what does your traveler actually want from these capabilities. So getting the voice of the customer in early in the process. The second thing to think about is what unique assets do you have to bring to the table and to influence that dialogue you have with the customer. You may have unique insights because you know that traveler from previous stays or previous voyages or what have you. You may also have specific knowledge of particular venues and the best restaurants or the best tours and things like that to take around that venue. And that's information and insight you can bring into that generative AI discussion.
And that's a great differentiator, right?
I think it is, right? I think that, for individual properties, it's a great differentiator. But collectively, if you've got let's say, a large chain or a large cruise line where you have lots of different venues that well, bringing that insight into the generative AI sort of search space is really powerful.
Okay, and are there particular kind of travel segments that should be top of mind? Who should they be targeting?
Sure. One of the things that was probably very surprising for us, probably most surprising for us, is just the skew that we saw in terms of the most loyal, like elite travelers that really were the most likely to embrace this. We thought, okay, well, elite travelers, they've traveled a lot, they have a lot of experience. They may not be searching for a lot of inspiration because they already know. And the reality is they're the ones most likely to use these technologies and to take the recommendations. The second thing we found is that the most affluent travelers were also, generally speaking, except in the very highest tiers of income, were the most likely to be using these technologies and liking the recommendations. So those are two segments we definitely care about: affluent travelers and loyal and frequent travelers.
Yeah.
And so we want to cater to those.
Right, we want more of those, please.
Right? Yeah.
It seems like low-hanging fruit, but
Exactly.
Okay, so just how as we round out here, just how, as they set their strategy, and you've talked about the data and what they should be trying to sort out and identify, what are then the next steps as they go forward with this?
Yeah, I think the key thing in formulating your strategy, we talked about getting the voice of the customer. We talked about understanding your unique assets. Those things are very important. The other things are, the technologies that you want to use. The good news is you don't have to build all this stuff yourself. These things are available in fairly nice, convenient white label forms. Yeah. Of course, there's still lots of interface, especially if you're going to tap into your loyalty data or you're going to tap into previous guest stay data and things like that. The other thing you need to do is you need to think about how do you intercept that customer's intention to travel or even just to inspire travel.
Yep.
How do you intercept that much higher up in the funnel? We're normally thinking, okay, for our website, we're going to try and get a customer when they're ready to book. And now we need to think about intercepting that customer when they're ready to think about where they want to go,
right, that
or even
intent
what kind
cycle.
of travel they want.
Yeah.
And so that means you have to maybe rethink your SEM, your search engine marketing strategy. You might even want to rethink your search engine optimization strategy and things like that, so that you're intercepting those customers at an earlier point in their travel intention in order to really play a role in inspiring that travel.
Bring them to you.
Exactly.
Great. Scott from Oliver Wyman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Lynn. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.
Cheers.